kills you inside. That's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just know passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug, those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem, I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Yes, y'all. Shout out to my pops. I do this for you, man. Thank you for being here. Everybody, it is Wednesday. Happy hump day. Thank you for choosing us. Yeah, we are down for the week on TikTok. You can't watch us on live on TikTok, so our numbers might be down because usually that's how everybody knows we're on live stream. Bothers me none. I really don't care. I got some things I want to drop in the screen for you guys for today's show. Thank you guys for being here. Just a reminder, shout out to all the MVPs. Shout out to everybody who makes our life possible. But more importantly, shout out to me, bro. I'm hanging in there. Tomorrow, I will not have a live stream in the evening. It will be in the morning. My live stream show will probably be 9 a.m. I have an appointment tomorrow night. I will be out of the loop. I will also not be doing the watch party. But we do have a watch party tonight. FIU, UTEP, Let's Get It On, Marvin Gaye style. Sam Houston State after that. Who are they playing? Who's Sam Houston playing? I can't forget this right now. I'm supposed to know this off the top of my head. Oh, New Mexico State. On the road at New Mexico State. Shout out to the Aggies. But, yeah, we'll be doing that tonight, that watch party. But tomorrow night, West Virginia at Houston and SMU at East Carolina, I will not be doing a watch party for that. I have some appointments I need to be at overnight. I will be in the hospital, and then I will be released in the morning. Don't worry about it, man. It's just a sleep test. Everybody's always wishing me good luck. Rico, are you okay? Are you okay? Bro, I'm fine. I asked the lady today, can I bring a toothbrush? Because that's pretty much all I need. I can't wake up in the morning without brushing my teeth, but that's a whole nother story. Let's get focused on the show, y'all. I'm going to talk about what's trending in sports today. I'm going to drop it in the screen here. Number one, the Cowboys are signing a former first-round draft pick. You heard it right. Rashaan Evans right here, first-round draft pick. Used to play at Alabama. He has not played in the league this year. He was on the practice squad for the Eagles earlier, and then he just hasn't played at all. He hasn't been on an active roster. But with all the injuries and everything going wrong, the Cowboys had to go find themselves a linebacker, and this man gets to go out there and try to relive his dream. Remember, this is a former Titans first-round draft pick, and the Titans missed on a lot of first-round draft picks, but this is one of their many misses. I would say, I don't like to say people are busts, but he did not live up to the first-round draft caliber type of player. He did have over 150 tackles in his career up to this point. I hope the Cowboys use him well if they need him, but there's a young man that just got signed off the street. Congratulations. I get excited for people who get signed off the street because you don't want them out there breaking laws, doing anything, becoming a burden on society and not really amounting to anything. And speaking of a burden on society, shout out to Sergio Brown. Just charged with first-degree murder of his mother. If you remember, this is the former NFL player, former Patriot, who was on Instagram and Twitter making these weird videos saying the FBI did it. Mom's fine. She's on vacation, all this stuff. Nah, bruh, you did it. We know you did it. A first-degree murder charge. He is in custody, and he's smiling. He's smiling. This is a mugshot, y'all. This is absurd. Okay? This is absurd. But, hey, everybody wants to blame CTE or justify erratic behavior because of CTE. I don't go there. You can have CTE and not kill your mother. I'm just letting you know you can be mentally unstable and not kill your mother. I'm just being real with you guys. So I got beef with it, okay? That's number one. Excuse me. That being said, let's go over to the games. Like I said, tonight, UTEP at Florida International. UTEP without star wide receiver Tyron Smith. Their quarterback's questionable for tonight's game, and Gavin. And then Florida International, their quarterback's probable, and I think he's great. Shout out to Keontae Jenkins, redshirt freshman, just gets it done, and I hope he uses all his weapons well tonight. Hope FIU plays well. Sam Houston on the road. Sam Houston is one of the more stout defenses in America, but they can't score to save their life. Their offense is one of the worst I've seen. I don't know what they're doing out there. Casey Keller's trying to keep this team together, but they are the best winless team in America. Like, seriously. When you look at Sam Houston, they haven't won a game, but they're the best 0-5. You don't want to be the best 0-5 team in America, but they are. They just lost to Liberty. They were competitive with an undefeated Liberty team. They went to overtime with a very good Jacksonville State team. They had no match for Houston. They played an undefeated Air Force team really well, and BYU 14-0. It's like they just can't score, guys. They can't score. Don't believe the hype of that 28. It took overtime, and it was a miracle to even get to 28. Trust me. It was like broken coverage multiple times. They can't score at all. They're playing New Mexico State, and I'm going to tell you, New Mexico State figures out a way to put up at least 17. They're 17 against undefeated Liberty. They beat UTEP to start the season, and then not UTEP. Who'd they beat in the first game? UMass. They lost to UMass the first game of the season, and then they got these 3 wins. They beat New Mexico. They were winning against Hawaii. Hawaii comes back, ties the game, and then kicks a field goal at the end of the game. And they beat FIU most recently pretty good. I thought they dominated FIU. They're not flashy. And Diego Paiva will frustrate you. He leaves a lot to be desired. But this little dude can run. If you notice, he is the star running back or leading rusher for the team. The star running back is a guy named Star. And I like Star. So Star Thomas, Diego Paiva, believe in these guys. Gentry, that's a transfer. Used to play at North Shore, transfer from Utah State. He's going to be the starting running back for Sam Houston. Leaves a lot to be desired. Some of these guys are a little slower than normal, but you guys got to know, yards allowed. Sam Houston State, don't be fooled by this yards allowed. They shut people down. Now, they do nothing on offense. 241 compared to 438, they do nothing on offense. It's terrible, and it's got to be the offensive line, but that's a whole nother conversation. Today we're talking about the Big 12 and the American Conference. I won't go into detail about these games. It's Thursday's matchup. These are MVP locks. I'll just tell you, SMU's really improved from the transfer portal, and East Carolina's cupboard's really bare. they don't have anybody. They don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have their running backs. They don't have their wide receiver. They had to get a whole new team. So East Carolina is kind of in that rebuild mode this year. Shout out to Tulane, one of the best teams in America, regardless of conference. Tulane can play with anybody. They have great wide receivers and a great quarterback, good defense. And Memphis has Seth Hennigan, and he can just beat you on any given day. They're on the road at Memphis. That's a real barn burner of a game. It's pretty exciting. On Saturday, Temple at North Texas. You want to see some passing yards? You want to see some scores? That's going to be out of control. Temple and North Texas are going to be off the charts with their scoring. We're going to see how much Charlotte's improved. Because Navy's coming on the road, and if Biff Poggi can keep this game close, Charlotte will show us some life. We'll see. Florida Atlantic, South Florida, that's an MVP matchup. Won't talk about it. And then UAB at UTSA, I believe that's also on the MVP card. Let me double check. Yeah, not talking about it. So there you go. Exciting games, exciting football. On the other side, Big 12. Can't talk about it. West Virginia, Houston. It's on the MVP card. It's during the week. So MVPs, you'll know about it. I'll make your video in the morning. You guys will learn about the teams. Saturday, Iowa State at Cincinnati. Iowa State, Anthony Becht is getting into his groove. That's their quarterback now. They're going on the road against Cincy. Satterfield's been, the wheel's been falling off, but they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this. We'll see what happens. Shout out to Emory Jones. Figure your offense out. Utilize all your weapons. Cincinnati has been a very hard team to figure out what's going on. Very hard team to figure out. They're good 1 week. They're bad the next. It's weird. Kansas at Oklahoma State. We all saw Oklahoma State play amazing the last time they were on the field. It's starting to wonder, is Gundy using his guys correctly, and are they going to be able to do that week in and week out? Because Ollie Gordon looked tough. Their defense looked mean, and they looked really competitive last week. And if you look at Kansas, well, they're ranked. People believe in Kansas. They got Jalen Daniels. They got players, bro. So that's an interesting matchup. BYU at TCU. TCU's going with a backup quarterback for the game. Chandler's hurt, and BYU has just been kind of under the radar competitive in most of their games. So that's an interesting matchup as well. And then K-State at Texas Tech. K-State laid an egg the last time we saw them. They looked absolutely terrible against Oklahoma State. I don't know what they were doing. Will Howard looked gross. The running game looked bad. People were out there jogging. There was nothing going on for K-State. And now you're going on the road to Texas Tech, who Texas Tech was supposed to be a great team this year, and they are not. Something is wrong with Texas Tech. They lost Tyler Shuck at quarterback, and they're having to make do with what they have. I'm not impressed with Texas Tech at all this year. So a lot of good matchups, kind of interesting. We're going to learn more about these teams. But obviously, if you're an MVP, you get the breakdowns and understand every bit of these teams. Remember, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., I do a live stream, MVPs only. They come in and they learn all the games. We talk about all the slates, all the prop bets. We do the entire slate of college football, not just the MVP 30 locks. So you get your money's worth. Shout out to them. If they all take notes, they're dominating. Just saying. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm going to go to the questions now. Whatever questions you have, you guys can make this show go as long as you want, or it'll be over as fast as you want. So shout out to you guys. Let's get to the chat. Only Big 12 questions. Only American Conference questions, please. Keep it in scope. Or you can ask questions about tonight's games within reason. Steve Hicks says, welcome. Oh, Steve Hicks, you're a minion. Congratulations, Steve. You might want to upgrade to MVP. Kenya Holloway, you are an MVP. Congratulations. Antonio Nealon, MVP. Congratulations. Andres says, how we doing, Rico? Hope you're having a great day. I am. Kind of, sort of. Great pick with Liberty last night. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Drop a like, everybody. Please like the stream. Shout out to Andres. Andres is here. Hopefully he hit on Liberty last night. A lot of people did. It was great. It was a great feeling to there was no sweat. They started dominating, knocking quarterbacks out of the game. It was easy money once Logan Smothers was in there. And then once the other kid came in, what was his name? Fry? Oh, man, he was fried all right. Fry didn't look good. Amani James, MVP, congratulations. Cato, MVP, congratulations. Mad Dog, 27971, MVP, congratulations. Kelly Okoru, MVP, congratulations. Cameron Vickers, you are now on Minion. Might want to upgrade, but I like it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and making my life possible. Touchable Otter, you're an MVP, congratulations. AR, MVP. Congratulations. Stephen Brown. All these new MVPs, all you got to do is check the MVP playlist. Go watch all the videos. Welcome to Rico Knows MVP package, Jonathan Key. Welcome, Jay Ivy, for upgrading your membership to MVP like I thought you would. Cooper Lopez, you're an MVP. Congratulations. B-Dog, you're an MVP. Congratulations. And Helen On, welcome to the MVP package. Shout out to everybody who's an MVP. You guys make our lives possible and keep the channel growing. Willie Bobo, MVP Wednesday. Let's go. Let's get it, Willie Bobo. With the Andrew Anthony injury, ooh, this is bad. Do you think Oklahoma misses a step, or do you see them being okay, still a loaded room for Rook, Stoops, Anderson, Freeman, Petaway? Someone is going to get some catches. So, Pilla McGee, this is an Oklahoma question if you guys didn't know. Oklahoma, one of their star receivers, Andrew Anthony, a transfer from Michigan with breakaway speed, done for the year, done for the season. I do not think this sets Oklahoma back by any means, right? There are very few players at the receiver position that impact your win-loss total, in my assessment. There are teams out there, whether they have a star receiver or not, they're going to usually win the same amount of games. I feel like Oklahoma's going to be okay. I really do. I think the gist of Oklahoma is Dylan Gabriel is a player. Dylan Gabriel will get you your drives, your touchdowns. I like what Dylan Gabriel can do. I'm not concerned at all that they have a wide receiver that's not available and all that other stuff. Like, they're fine, bro. They got a deep room, but more importantly, they know how to utilize their weapons. They'll be okay. Worm Nem says, where do I go get MVP? Worm Nem, look in the instructions. Look in the comments of this video. If you click on the details of this video, there should be a link. If not, go to my homepage on Rico Knows at YouTube or TikTok, and you will learn all you need to know about how to become an MVP. It's too easy. It's the push of a button, bruh. You just join the channel. Use the non-browser version, or use the browser version of YouTube. Don't use the app. There's a pinned video on TikTok with all the instructions. It's also on YouTube. If you go to the homepage, it will just start playing as soon as you enter the homepage. Do not use YouTube, the app. Don't do it. Helen On, welcome. You're the new MVP. I just joined your MVP. Where can I find locks tonight? Find tonight's locks. Helen On, tonight's locks are in the MVP video playlist. Go to the MVP playlist. There's a bunch of videos in there for this week, and you'll see it'll say Wednesday night locks, and I have an update number 1 and 2. You can see Wednesday night locks. Go find the videos. They're on the playlist. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I hope you see it. If you don't, reach out. Bobby Albright, what's good, Rico? Got a recruiting question. How do you feel about DJ Lagway out of Texas? Hearing great things about his senior season. So, Bobby Albright, a lot of people ask me to look at DJ Lagway's tape. If you guys don't know, he is verbally committed to go to Florida and be their savior, DJ Lagway. And I have yet to watch the tape. I'm not too concerned until he makes the 2 deep. I will do an assessment of him after he signs. Maybe if he gets declared the starter after spring football, something like that. But all that I hear is DJ Lagway is great. Every time I look, his stats are off the chart. Outside of a few highlights, I haven't sat down and broken down his tape. Okay, so I just want to be clear. Another thing, I'm going to go to YouTube right now. I just want to double check something. I went straight to YouTube. I went and I searched Rico Knows. And when I go to my channel and I just go straight to it, the very first playlist is MVP Locks. It's too easy. There they all are at the top of the page. So somebody who said, where are all the locks? Where's all the information? It's right there. As soon as you come to the homepage, Rico Knows, that first playlist is MVP Locks. Boom, and you can watch everything. It'll teach you how to do your betting units. It'll teach you all the plays for the week. More importantly, if you go further on this playlist, you'll see it starts with 6, and then we got 7. We're in week 7, by the way. And we're there, and then there's urgent. Urgent update for tonight. Tonight's update. This was last night. You don't have to worry about Tuesdays. You don't have to worry about last night. Oh, and then first look is for all the games this week. This first look trophy is for all the games this week, just so you know. It's really important, okay? You want to look at both of these, really. But the 17-minute long video, yeah. Sit down, take notes. And everybody who says, well, I don't have 17 minutes. Well, then you don't care about your money, man. Sit down, screenshot the damn chart on the screen, and take notes if you care about your money. Because you're going to win money. Or you're going to lose money. But you won't stay the same. You hear me? I use this method for everything in life. It could be your diet. It could be working out. It could be your money, your education. It could be anything. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse every single day. But you never stay the same. That's a fact. You never stay the same. Think about it. Weight loss. Don't matter. Anything. You either get better or you get worse. Never stays the same. Aaron Walker says, yo, Rico, why isn't West Virginia getting the respect it deserves in the AP polls? Do you think they have a chance to make it to the Big 12 championship? Take a look at their schedule. Aaron Walker, West Virginia as a whole, one thing about them, and I like West Virginia, but when you look at West Virginia, getting blown out by Penn State to start off the season was tough. Now, I thought they played well in the game. I thought they impressed me and they played well. These wins, I think they've been pretty clutch. Now, does it mean they're great? Probably not. Do I think they're going to win a few games here? It looks good, but they're probably going to lose to Oklahoma. And all the rest are literal coin flips. You can't feel comfortable. Like, you can't go out there and guarantee these wins. If you're looking at it, these are coin flip-like results. Nothing here is definitive or, Pitt's really bad. But these other two, they're one-possession games. That's 7 points and 3 points, right? So one-possession games, I feel like they're going to be in one-possession games against all these teams unless they get blown out by Oklahoma. So it's still a coin flip as to seeing how many games they're going to win, right? It's still, the odds are against them. So it's difficult. But I respect West Virginia for pulling it out against Texas Tech and TCU, but they're not really good teams. They're not having great seasons. They're underwhelming. And on the same time, when you have a season like the one West Virginia is having, they could very easily be on the losing side of these games. These are games they used to lose. Shout out to Neil Brown for finding a way to win. But there's nothing too flashy about West Virginia when you watch them play. Right? There really isn't. The only guy is Donaldson. C.J. Donaldson sticks out on tape because he's dominant. Former tight end, moved to running back. Garrett Green's mobile and can get things done. Right? Nico coming off the bench when he was playing earlier. Whoever's the hot hand, whoever's going to actually do their thing. But Hudson Clement had that one game where he dominated and got himself a scholarship. Shout out to him. But Cole Taylor's probably, one of the better tight ends out there. Devin Carter moving over from NC State. Getting it done, moving chains, looks good, right? I could go through everybody. Shout out to E.J. Horton. But I can go through everybody and tell you that the team just keeps getting it done. Beanie Bishop here. Is he a transfer? He's a transfer, right? I know this. Yeah, Beanie's a transfer. Or he's been there. Yeah, he's a transfer. Just transferred from Western Kentucky, Minnesota, and now he's there. For me, when I look at this team, just a bunch of overachievers. Just a bunch of overachievers. I love it. I love how tough they are. Look at that. Tommy Wadorje, one of the top transfers I had. He was supposed to go to Colorado. He went on a visit to Colorado, and then after the visit, he flipped and said, I'm going to go to West Virginia. This is a Kentucky transfer. Great kid, bro. There he is. 3 sacks. This is a stud of a player, SEC caliber player, and he's dominating out there. So I'm really impressed with West Virginia. I don't think the polls are impressed with West Virginia. They're 4-1, and they kind of know their limitations of where they stand. So it's just one of those things to think about. Okay, that's just how they're going to be for a while. And if they beat Houston, no one cares. They beat Oklahoma State, no one cares. They beat UCF, no one cares. Now their record, once they're 7-1, you start looking around, and going, man, don't we belong in the top 25? Shouldn't we be? But everybody's going to go, what about Missouri and Florida and Kentucky? They're going to want to rank all those other teams first. West Virginia's not flashy. Not flashy. But they're tough. They're tough. I like them. I like the way they're built. I love their defense. You see this defense right here? You're going out there winning games because you're only allowing 6, 13, and 21 points. They're not allowing anybody to really put it on them the way you envision. They're playing good defense. It's spectacular. So I'm impressed with West Virginia at this point, but it's not like they're going to get the love for being 4-1 right now. They haven't beat anybody, of significance, unfortunately. Still respect the hell out of them. Thanks for the question, Aaron Walker. Daryl McGahee says, Rico, do you think UC has a chance in the Big 12 in the coming years? Well, this year, Darnell McGahee, I thought this was their year, to be competitive, because they have an amazingly easy schedule, right? They have a ridiculously easy schedule. They don't play Texas. They don't play Texas Tech. They don't play K-State. They play all the new teams, and they started with Eastern Kentucky. Pitt's an easy win, but once you lost to Miami of Ohio, I knew you weren't built for this. Losing to BYU just sucks. You're one of the newcomers, so are they. You didn't get it done. You were close. But they can still go out there and compete. I think they're very comparable to the next 4 opponents, 5, 6 opponents. I don't know if they can beat Kansas, but this was the easiest schedule around, if you really think about it. Easiest schedule around, and they're 2-3. It's got to be demoralizing. But that's Satterfield for you, man. He's close to being likable, but not really. Now, how well are they going to be moving forward? That all depends on recruiting and the transfer portal. And Satterfield, I have yet to see him build an empire where teams get better under him. He generally did really well when he was initially at Louisville, being coach of the year and all this other stuff. He did really well inheriting a decent team and building it up and keeping it afloat and all his star quarterbacks and all that shit. But once they departed and once things kind of got rolling, he didn't do well. He didn't do well. And he didn't get fired, but he moved on. And I want you to think about this. He went from – Cincinnati is one of the few teams that hired a coach that didn't feel like an upgrade, obviously. It was a backup plan, right? And when you lose your coach, that's usually the norm. If you lose your coach because he's hired by a better school, you usually don't backfill with somebody better unless you're Louisville. Louisville lost their coach to Cincinnati, and Louisville backfilled with Jeff Brom, a better coach. And you can see the results on the field. But that is a very rare circumstance. So Cincinnati losing Luke Fickell, they did not get the same caliber coach. Right? If you fire a coach, well, then obviously the new coach coming in is better than the previous one, theoretically. But this is not the template for success, what Cincinnati's doing right now. It just feels like they picked a guy who was kind of shunned by Louisville. Like, they were ready for him to leave Louisville. And come on, man, he left off on FaceTime. He didn't even meet his team. He's very unlikable. I like UC's chances if they can retain their players, recruit well, and stay competitive with the rest of the conference. We'll see. Aaron Walker says, Dylan Gabriel to win the Heisman is at plus 1,200. What do you think? I don't bet on that kind of shit. It sounds like a great play, but what do you throw at that, man? A unit? Like, I don't know. I don't mess around with stuff. I try not to predict the future like that. I really don't. I haven't predicted who's going to win conferences. I haven't predicted any of that stuff. You'll never see that content on me. I also don't do mock drafts. I don't do a lot of things that all these other channels do. So trying to predict who's going to win the Heisman is absurd. And the odds, it's just all ridiculous. It's conjecture. It's just nonsense. It's created out of nothing. Do you look at Oklahoma as a true contender to win it all this year? Bobby Albright, I think Oklahoma is very good. I thought they were going to lose one game this season, and it was going to be to Texas. So I don't mind, the way they look right now. I don't mind what they're doing. I think they're a year ahead of schedule. I was looking forward to them doing this with Jackson Arnold and dominating the SEC. That's what I envision from Oklahoma moving forward. What they're doing this year is impressive. Can they win it all, or are they contender to win it all? If they make it to the playoffs, right? You're not a contender unless you make it to the playoffs. If they make it to the playoffs, man, all hats are off like that. All bets are off. They're on that shit, bro. They're there. Josh Bartley says, sorry, chat jumped on me. Josh Bartley says, thinking about taking Oregon team total points over 33.5 thoughts. I would say that Washington's defense is very good. They will get extra offensive possessions. Oregon will, because Washington's going to score. So, Josh, it seems like that's a play, but I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it. I think Oregon and Washington are very comparable to one another. I think it's going to be difficult for any of them to really get going. I'm seeing 24-21 vibes. Like, I'm seeing the same score as the Arizona-Washington game because they have comparable defenses, right? Oregon has a good defense like Arizona's, and I think they can shut Washington down. And then on the flip side, Washington's defense is no joke. Washington's defense is strong up front. They can stop. They can cover your receivers. They can give you problems. But if Oregon falls behind, they're going to be throwing a lot. They're going to be throwing a lot. And if they get ahead, they're not going to be running that rock. They're going to keep throwing. Little Bucky's going to get a ton of receptions. I don't know if he's going to be rushing for much. Washington's front is mean, guys. Washington's front is mean. Do you like what you saw out of Kansas against UCF? Seems like they realize they can run the ball really well. Yeah, they've known that. They've known that. I like Kansas against UCF. I didn't like what I saw from UCF. If I'm being real, UCF's mailing it in, man. UCF is looking very disappointing just because your quarterback went down and you just don't seem like you match up well with the conference. Welcome to the Big 12. This is not the American Conference. You got to match up every week in and week out. And they look like they got punked by an up-and-coming team. Kansas is a 7-win team. And now they're about to win 9 because people don't know how to play. People can't deal with them. They're beating the brakes off of people. So I was really impressed with Kansas, but I was more disappointed with UCF. That's the truth. Especially their linebackers, man. Your linebacker coach is Ernie Sims, and you're out there playing like that? It was gross. Bobby Albright says, do you think the Colorado could be a top Big 12 team next year with the conference restructuring? If not, who do you see above them? I know it's hard to project next season. Just curious. Yeah, Bobby Albright, this will be the complete wrong answer because we don't know how these teams are going to utilize the transfer portal. But I think Arizona is poised to be very dominant next year just out of seniority of their players and their development. A lot of their good players are sophomores right now, and they're going to be juniors next year, and they should be in the 2 deep. Arizona's going to be loaded. But who knows? Maybe they all hit the portal and don't stick around. USC's been scalping their players for years now. But yeah, the Big 12's got some good teams. K-State, Texas Tech, Arizona State, Colorado. They're all very good. It'll be a very competitive conference. I don't know who's going to win it. I don't know anything like that until I see what happens in the transfer portal. And obviously, recruiting matters a little bit. Recruiting doesn't really impact the following year's results. I don't get excited about a good recruiting class. That doesn't matter to me in the slightest. That does not impact the game on the field like 90% of the time. It just doesn't. You get out of the number 1 recruiting class, that's cool. Those players won't see the field for at least 2 or 3 years if you're building your program right and you have the right amount of depth. Thoughts on ESPN ranking K-State, and do you think they need to change at quarterback? I think, Bobby Albright, if your quarterback's out there throwing 3 interceptions and looking like just a straight buffoon, yeah, you got to do something, man. You got to go out there and bring in the Avery Johnson kid and see what he can do. You got players on your team. Try them out. You recruited these young men. You believe in them. You got one player playing bad. Like if you're a backup and you're saying, man, I wish coach would put me in. Well, when do you think coach is going to put you in? When do you wish coach would put you in? Well, when the guy in front of me throws 3 interceptions, shouldn't I get a shot? Or are we just going to sit here and pretend like that doesn't matter? Think about that. Like, what was the moment you were waiting for? I see a lot of kids right now hitting the portal because somebody got injured in front of them on the depth chart, and they still put somebody else in front of them. Like there's the running back in Nebraska right now. Man, what's his name? He came to the channel. He wrote me a DM, and he just said, hey, man, your video was kind of accurate. You got a little bit wrong, but I think it was a fair assessment in what you said, and I think it was fair for the things you said. Like, that's fine. He goes, but to tell you the truth, I left and I hit the portal before they moved Josh Fleeks over to running back. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Nebraska obviously lost 2 of their best running backs, and their 2 best running backs are done for the season. So now they got Anthony Grant. They got a freshman moving up. And then they're like, man, we need another running back. So they went and grabbed Josh Fleeks, one of their slot receivers. He used to play running back at Baylor 5 years ago for Matt Rule. So Matt Rule says, hey, I know that kid can play running back. He used to play running back for me 5 years ago. Move him over. So they brought him back to the running back room. So when I made my video, I said, hey, they just told this kid he's not going to be the third-string running back. He's been waiting his chance. He's a local kid from Nebraska, and they didn't give him any shot. So he jumped in the transfer portal. He said, no, Mr. Rico, I jumped in the portal before they moved Josh Fleeks over. He said, but I can guarantee you they would have moved him over and put him ahead of me if I was still there. That's what he said to me. And that's pretty shocking, guys. That means that coaching staff does not believe in me. They don't want me. They never thought I would be anything. They never thought for a second they would let me play. And now that young man's got to go find a new scholarship somewhere, a new opportunity. I don't blame him. I'm just telling you that that's what's happening out here. So if you're sitting on the bench right now at a Power 5 school and you're waiting for your opportunity and the coaching staff knows there's injuries at the position and they don't put anybody else in, that's crazy. Like, what are we doing? Those people who are backing them up are not going to be okay with it. Prime example, last night. Last night, Jacksonville State, their starting quarterback, Zion Webb. He just won the job the other week. He gets hurt, and they bring back in Logan Smothers, and Logan Smothers, a Nebraska transfer, played like garbage. Logan Smothers was doing exactly what we thought. I started celebrating. I'm on live stream. I'm dancing and having a good time. We know Logan Smothers can't play football. And after a couple of series, Rich Rodriguez starts looking around and goes, you know what? I got a true freshman on the bench, ain't never played. Last name Fry. Can't throw. He's nervous. He's not ready. Don't care. Go grab him. He's in the game from now. And he finished the game last night. But if you don't go to that kid and you don't give him a chance, yeah, and he fell flat on his face. He didn't play well. So what? Were you going to leave Logan Smothers in there to throw 3 more interceptions and look absolutely like dog shit? The same thing's happening with Sam Houston right now. Sam Houston, when you look at this team, Sam Houston leaves so much to be desired. They keep playing this Shoemaker kid. And Shoemaker's out here looking terrible. 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Look at Shoemaker's stat line. 3 interceptions in the first game of the season. No touchdowns, and then he's finally gone 2-1, 2-1. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, back-to-back. You know who else they got on this team at quarterback? They got Grant Gunnell right here. Former Arizona quarterback, former Texas A&M commit, all-time leading passer in high school history in Texas. This is an amazing quarterback. They don't even let him play. They just we're going to keep going with this Shoemaker kid. What about Xavier Ward? Transfer from Washington State. Just wants a shot. Just left Washington State. He's out here third string. Jordan Yates, Georgia Tech quarterback. Dual threat. They moved him out of the quarterback position, said he needs to play slot receiver, running back. They don't even play him. They're falling apart internally because they just keep going with this dude and letting him go out there and play the way he's been playing. And I'm telling you, I see a guy with QBRs of 15 and 7, and I'm not getting in the game. It's a shame, bro. K-State has a terrible quarterback situation going on right now, and they need to give Will Howard a rest. Let him chill. I just talked about all these stats, and you guys couldn't see the screen because I'm blocking it with my body. Bananas. I apologize. Oh, my goodness. I just realized it. So sorry. I was pointing at stats, guys. I was willing and dealing on the stats. Ricky Bobby says, it's that time, baby. Turn on Rico Knows and give myself a nice, succulent Dutch oven like the stream, everybody. Yeah, Ricky Bobby, you got problems, bro. You got problems. Troy S. says, will Sonny Dykes learn that he needs to get an upperclassman for 2 deep quarterbacks? The backup being a freshman to a sophomore says the quarterback room is super inexperienced. Troy, it's not his fault, man. It's not his fault, Troy. Unfortunately for him, he inherited the team last year, and then he just had a transfer leave, right? Sam Jackson, the 5th, left to go to Cal, he'd be the starting quarterback right now. And they'd be looking pretty good. They'd feel good. But that's the transfer portal. You're going to lose a lot of your depth at a position group if you're not playing all the guys. And everybody knew Chandler's going to be the starter, or Morris, right? Morris is going to be the starter because he was the starter last year. Once you have an incumbent starter, who else wants to stick around? You're going to lose your second-string quarterback. You got a starter coming back. Your second-string quarterback's not coming back. That's not happening. I'm out of here, bro. I can go start somewhere else. And that's exactly what happened. Sonny Dykes is dealing with transfer portal attrition, draft attrition, and he hasn't been able to implement his entire recruiting classes for the last 3. You got to hit the portal. Find some depth. Find some experience. And they did. They went and got Chance Nolan, and he's not ready to go. That's another guy. They got a starter from Oregon State in Chance Nolan, and he can't go. Got neck injury. Got a problem. Not ready to go. And that's unfortunate because that was going to be their emergency backup quarterback. And he's a good quarterback. And he's played in the Power 5. That would have solved everything you're talking about, Troy. I think Sonny Dykes knows what he's doing. It's an unfortunate circumstance. Did Iowa State's O-line look improved against TCU? Everybody's O-line looks improved against TCU. Remember what Colorado did to them. Colorado's O-line leaves a lot to be desired. They still dominated TCU. TCU's running a 3-man front this year. The strength of their defense is their secondary and their linebackers, not their defensive line. So everybody's O-line looks good against TCU, just to be clear. Yes, it looked improved. Thoughts on Garrett Green taking the starting spot back from Mark Maricho? I know that team is behind Green. Garrett Green's a baller, man. Garrett Green's tough. He's talking about West Virginia quarterbacks, guys. Garrett Green is just he's a gunsy. He's a gamer, bro. Reminds me of like Steve Young type status of just being that annoying dude who can do it all. I like everything Garrett Green's doing now. He's not a prototypical passer. He's not like prolific or anything. He's not putting up a ton of numbers. But Garrett Green is just he's a gamer, gunslinger. You want that dude. You want him on your team, not the other team, for sure. And anytime a guy loses his starting job and then takes it back, that's a dog. He didn't quit. He went to practice every day and kept competing. That's a dog. That don't happen anymore. We got guys hitting the portal all the time now because they lost their starting position. I have 3 of them so far this year. 3 dudes in the portal so far this year. After 5 games, they just quit on the team and said, I'm not getting the playing time I thought I was going to get. I'm out of here. That's exactly what happened to these 3 or 4 dudes right now in the portal. It's nuts. Dylan Fout says, hey, Rico, I love your content. Well, I love your support, brother. And I know you hate the biases of the AP and coaches pool. Not the pool, the poll. P-O-L-L. Keep your girl off the poll. P-O-L-E. Keep your daughter off the poll. Okay, anyways. Do you think the college football poll is just as bad? Thoughts? Well, Dylan Fout, it's unfortunate, but the college football committee uses a metric to determine how they like their players or their teams. And one of the metrics they use is something called strength of schedule. And strength of schedule is determined by how many ranked teams you've beaten or how many ranked teams you're playing. That's what strength of schedule is determined by. And it's unfortunate because those polls that we think are worthless and not a big deal, they infiltrate and influence committee members into thinking you beat a quality team, right? So if you beat the number 25 ranked Kentucky team by 50 points last week, shout out to Georgia, now Kentucky's not ranked and won't be ranked for the rest of the year, but that one week they played Georgia, they were ranked. Well, then everybody goes, well, Georgia played a tough schedule, man. They played a ranked Kentucky team. Be like, what the fuck are we talking about, right? It happens every single time. It's unfortunate. It's the bias. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I wish it was all math-oriented and metric-driven based upon this year's results only. I know that basketball has a far better formula, like with their FPI and RPI and all their other shit. And the reason basketball is more refined and better is because they've had more experience with debating whether or not a team is better than the other just by the sheer number of bids they're trying to give to March Madness. So there's that. There's also the number of games they play. So you can tell whose schedule is more difficult or more impressive than you can in football. It's harder in football because you only have 12 opponents, right? The other thing is they have stuff like quadrant wins or quad wins. Are you in the upper 15 teams or 60 teams or 25 teams, whatever it is? We don't have any such metrics being applied to football. I have issue with all of it, but I just think we should have 32 teams in the playoffs. You can do 32 in the first round, 16. Yeah, you play a 12-game season, no conference championships, 32 teams, 16. Well, they play to go down to 16. Then they play to go down to 8, 4, 2, and then you got a champion. That's 5 games. Yeah, if you do that, that's a 17-game season like they're doing in the NFL. I don't care. Right now they're doing 15-game seasons. Georgia just went 15-0 last year. And if you play at Hawaii, you can play 16 games if you go to the national title. Like Hawaii can play 12 regular season games plus one more, that's 13, plus a conference championship, that's 14, plus a bowl game, that's 15. Every single year, Hawaii can play 15 games. And if they were to go to the playoffs, they would play 16 games. Why are we afraid of this? I don't understand. Let these guys play. So that's how I feel. Rico, what up, Big Rico? What up, GFT? Mr. Mike and Ike says, hey, Rico, what is your assessment on ECU's ability to still make a bowl game this year? I feel like they still have plenty of wins left to grab onto their schedule. Mr. Mike and Ike, you're talking about ECU, East Carolina. You think they can still make a bowl game? Number one, East Carolina losing their first game, not all that big of a deal now that we look at it. We look at this next game, losing to an undefeated Marshall. Marshall just lost last week to Sacramento State. I apologize. I got to make sure you guys can see this stuff. And then on the road at App State, getting blown out. We just saw App State last night look hapless against Coastal Carolina, so that doesn't impress me. Beating Gardner-Webb. This win does not count towards their bowl wins because it's an FCS level win. So you have to have 6 FBS level wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 games left. They literally have to win 6 of their last 7 to be bowl eligible. They cannot include this Gardner-Webb win in their 6 wins. Okay, so they need 6 wins here. SMU, Charlotte, UTSA, Tulane, FAU, Navy, and Tulsa. They need 6 wins out of here. Where do you see their 6 wins? I don't think they can beat SMU. They're competitive with Charlotte. I don't think they can beat UTSA or Tulane. Competitive. So there's 4 coin tosses here, but for me, there's 3 definite losses. I think this team has had a terrible year. I think that they knew they were going to have a bad year. You lose a star quarterback to the NFL in Holton Ahlers. You lose an explosive and dynamite running back in Keaton Mitchell, and you replace him with Broderick Green, the transfer from Georgia Southern. You have 2 1,000-yard receivers gone. You replace them with next to nothing. You did get a transfer from Bama last year, but it's like the cupboard was extremely bare. Their defense is still okay. They're not bad, but you can't be giving up 30 points to Marshall and 24 to Rice. Like, you just can't. And for me to take you serious. So ECU has no shot at a bowl game this year. It's a fact. They had to beat at least 2 of these teams up here for me to think they would have a chance. They don't have a chance at a bowl game. ECU will be at home for the holidays like you or I. Bobby Albright says, and this is in all caps, Logan Smothers is the worst quarterback in Division I. He would be a bottom-tier Division II quarterback. You know, when he hit the transfer portal, I went back and watched his tape. This is considered a dual-threat quarterback. And then when he selected Jacksonville State, I said that's perfect because he's a dual-threat quarterback, and he's probably not FBS caliber. And then I remembered, oh, wait, Jacksonville State is an FBS team now. What are we doing? Well, I can tell you. They recruited him because he fits their skill set. He's what they're looking for. But if you look at it, bro, he's no Zion Webb. It's night and day when Zion Webb comes on the field compared to him. And his throwing mechanics, everything he does, it's bad. It's bad. Logan Smothers is not the worst quarterback in Division I. I'm sure there's worse, but it's pretty bad. If we went in here, let's go NCAA, and let's go to stats. We can sort by QBR. We'll go all conferences. Complete passing leaders. Let's see here. Let me go to rating, and let's flip it. And let's go look for guys with 50. Look at that. JT Shrout. Oh, boy. I'm looking at quarterback rating in college football. JT Shrout, that's a former Colorado quarterback, transferred to Arizona. Well, he's former Tennessee quarterback, transferred to Arkansas State to go match back up with Butch Jones. JT Shrout, I think he's done for the year. He's injured. He's not playing anymore. He's not getting it done, okay? He's a bad quarterback. Bad quarterback. 47% completion percentage, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. JT Shrout is not good. Jacob Conover, transfer from BYU, going back home. He's an Arizona kid, played well in high school, but he's struggling there. And then there's Alex Finn. Alex Finn, looking gross. 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions. That's East Kentucky right there. Or, I'm sorry, East Carolina. Grant Gunnell's backing up. Clay Millen lost his starting job. Brandon Lewis, former Colorado quarterback. There's another one at Nevada. CJ Harris, the backup at Ohio, came in only due to injuries. Hunter Herring, he's a transfer from Louisiana, the Raging Cajun. He's over here, and he's struggling to even compete. Daniel Richardson, former starting quarterback at Central Michigan, transferred down to FAU to be the starter. He ended up the backup. Another backup, Bryson Browns. Alan Bowman playing terrible. That's the transfer from Michigan, former Texas Tech starting quarterback. Sawyer Robertson, former Mississippi State starting quarterback. And not starting quarterback, former Mississippi State quarterback, period. And he transferred out of the program after Mike Leach passed away, not getting it done at Baylor after Chapin got injured. Drew Pine, a backup, left Notre Dame, not doing well. These are all terrible quarterbacks. Terrible quarterbacks. Where's your boy Logan Smothers? Where's Smothers, right? And then you look, Justin Lamson. That is a second-string quarterback from Syracuse, and he transferred back to California. He was second string to Garrett Schrader. Okay, Cade McNamara, we know how bad he played. Jai Wright. This was supposed to be a transfer from – where did Jai Wright come? I think he's a junior college kid. He's not the short one. He's 6'1". Did he come from a JUCO? Well, they're not going to show you. But Jai Wright's never been good either. 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's battling it out with another kid. I'm forgetting the kid's name. It's not Hunter Herring that he's battling it out with. Somebody else. There's 3 quarterbacks at ULM. And then Caden Simonza, that's a freshman, and he's very, very suspect, playing bad. Okay, and he's at Ball State, former Mission Viejo quarterback in high school. There's a transfer. Oh, no, there's not a transfer. Athan finally getting his chance to start in Minnesota, playing bad. Jalen Jones is a transfer, goes into Charlotte, playing bad. Connor Bazelak, one of the worst I've seen, lost his starting job. Brennan Armstrong. Billy Wiles, that's a former Clemson walk-on that got a scholarship and then transferred to Southern Miss. Kyron Drones, not good. Not good, but he's down here, right? They say he's getting better and he's playing better. These are all dual-threat quarterbacks right here. Kyron Drones, DJ Irons, former JUCO guy. Kyron Drones, a Baylor transfer. Sam Jackson, TCU transfer. Ben Bryant, Cincinnati transfer. Michael Alamo, Purdue transfer. The backup at Nebraska. He's playing actually pretty decent running the ball. Gavin Wimsatt can't hit the broadside of a barn. Guys, I could go down this list name for name. I know every single player in their whole background. And I'm looking, and there we go. There's Logan Smothers. When do we finally get to Logan Smothers? So as bad as you think Logan Smothers is, his quarterback rating, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, his quarterback rating puts him ahead of E.J. Warner, which is crazy, ahead of Tanner Mordecai. It's nuts. He's not as terrible as you think. There's all these guys worse, statistically. Now, we're having tryouts. Some of these guys are pretty bad. But I think I proved my point. And the point is I know all the quarterbacks. I'm just joking. Shout out to me, though. You don't ever want to talk sports with me. Not college football. I just go forever. My bad. Let's go back. I'm shooting it on the games tonight, Mr. Rico, sir. If I don't win, it's not your fault. It's definitely not my fault, Brian Baum, because you're not an MVP, number one. And number two, it's never my fault, man. I don't push the buttons for you. Do you, boo-boo? Bobby Albright says, Green was hurt. Otherwise, I don't think Marischal would have even seen the field. Very true. But I agree with what you say about Green. Who is winning the starting job at quarterback? Logan Smothers or Gavin Wimsatt? Gavin Wimsatt. Better running option. Gavin Wimsatt. Anyone over Smothers? UNC or Unk? I don't know what we're saying. Would the rushing ability of some of these quarterbacks make them viable? Some of the quarterbacks I was showing you, dual threat quarterbacks that are out there, like on this list here. Give me a second. I don't know what just happened to my box. Pause. These quarterbacks, the first dual threat guy I see that's even worth mentioning. Daniel Richardson's kind of a dual threat. Justin Lamson's actually athletic, but I don't think it's dual threat oriented, but he's athletic. Jalen Jones is a dual threat. Brendan Armstrong's definitely a dual threat. Kyron Drones, DJ Iron, Sam Jackson. Those are stud dual threats. They run a lot. Gavin Wimsatt. Heinrich is a dual threat. Taylon Green is obviously a dual threat. That's a stud of a quarterback, but he's just been really bad passing. But he can run. Jalen Mayden's a former safety. He's obviously really, really athletic. Tanner Mordecai's tough, man. He can run more than you think, more than you know. Chevin Cordero's a great dual threat quarterback. Taven Jackson can run around and extend play. So, yeah, some of these quarterbacks are dual threats that are viable because of their legs and what they do, just so we're aware. LMAO, Brian, funny as fuck. Okay. How the hell did Smothers ever win the spot over Webb? Webb was playing bad. Webb was playing bad for the first couple of games, and they decided to go with Logan Smothers. So that's just the way it is. You know, if a guy's down playing bad, you give the other dude a shot, and then you go back and forth. I feel like Drone's rushing ability has really changed things for Virginia Tech. Yeah, probably. He's bringing more to the table with it if they utilize it correctly. I think everybody's kind of looking at how Boston College is utilizing Thomas Castellanos. Like, they're like, oh, man, that guy can really run. That's a gamer. What, can we duplicate that? What Boston College is doing with Castellanos is impressive because he struggles passing, but my goodness, is he just a great runner. And I watched him play at Ware County here in Georgia. I've always thought he was great. I always liked him, so it's just one of those things. It's nice to see when kids start hitting their stride, and I hope Drones keeps doing the same thing. Spend less money, no blame, Rico Knows, for gambling loss, yes. Okay, thank you very much, Ricky Bobby. Hey, guys, well, the show was short and to the point. We got a lot of games coming up this week. I hope you guys, I wish you guys the best, and I hope you win big. Hope you keep doing what you do. Remember, we will have a watch party tonight at 7:30. I think the first game starts. Double check, 7:30. I'll probably be on live at 7:20. We'll see you guys there. I might start that live stream at 7:20. I don't remember what it was supposed to be at. If it's at 7, it's at 7, but I think I set it for 7:30. But I'll see you guys then. Come hang out. MVPs, get your bets in. Watch the videos. Thank you guys for your time. Thanks for kicking it with us. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace.
Do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just know passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify.